What drove him to harbor such intense hatred? In less than a year, he killed 19 people, targeting the wealthy and high-end call girls. Hello everyone, I'm Michael Vincent. Today we're diving deep into the story of Yoo Young-chul, the most notorious serial killer in South Korean history. This case unfolded in Seoul, the capital of South Korea, back then still known as Hanseong, located in the Han River Basin in the northwest of the country, right at the heart of the Korean peninsula. Between 2003 and 2004, Yoo Young-chul emerged as a nightmare, earning the title of South Korea's most depraved murderer. In just 1 year, he took at least 19 lives, zeroing in on affluent elderly people and young call girls. His brutality didn't stop at killing. He dismembered his victims in a twisted manner and even consumed their flesh. Fueled by a deep hatred for the rich and women, his methods were savage, his crimes relentless, and they sent shockwaves through Korean society. He even set a record as the individual responsible for the highest number of murders in the country's criminal history, cementing his place as South Korea's top serial killer. When arrested, he was defiant, boasting that he had intended to kill over 100 people. So, what happened back then? Why did he despise the rich and women so fiercely? Let's travel back to 1970 to unravel the details of this chilling case. Yoo Young-chul was born on April 18, 1970, in Gochang County, North Jeolla Province, South Korea, into a dirt-poor family. At age 1, they moved to Hanseong. He had an older brother, Yoo Se-pyung. His mother took odd jobs in the outskirts, while his father worked as a hired blacksmith. Their income was meager, barely enough to scrape by, leaving the family in constant hunger. Yoo and his brother grew up malnourished, and their father's drinking and gambling often sparked fights with their mother. Seeing other kids with things he could never have, Yoo Young-chul grew resentful, convinced that fate had dealt him an unfair hand. From a young age, he turned to petty theft, landing him in juvenile detention centers time and again. One time, he was caught stealing money from a classmate and nearly expelled. His frequent stints in detention tanked his education, and he ended up at a rough high school filled with troublemakers, a place that only dragged him deeper into the abyss. Later, he graduated to robbery and fraud, occasionally brawling with peers due to his odd personality. In terms of relationships, the only person he could truly call a friend growing up was his brother Yoo Se-pyung, who treated him kindly and listened to his troubles. In his second year of high school, he stole 230,000 won and some valuables from a neighbor's room, earning him yet another trip to juvie. After graduating, he predictably failed to get into college and took a job cleaning sewers. A year later, his father died of epilepsy, a hereditary condition his brother also inherited, though Yoo himself dodged it. Still, he convinced himself he had it too. In April 1990, Yoo Young-chul married a call girl named Park Myung-jin and had a son. But marriage didn't reform him. He kept committing crimes and going to jail. In 1994, his brother died of epilepsy, leaving him the last man in the family. This sparked a growing fear of death that gnawed at him, unraveling his already fragile mind. In 1995, mental issues landed him in a psychiatric hospital in Hanseong, but he was discharged after just 3 months without a proper evaluation. In May 2002, he was jailed again for theft. While inside, he came across reports of Yoon Do-young, a serial killer who murdered 9 women and children between 1999 and 2000. Around this time, his wife, fed up with his constant incarcerations, filed for divorce, and his son rejected a father who treated prison like a second home. Furious, Yoo blamed her departure on his poverty, calling her a vain sex worker. It was then that the idea of surpassing Yoon Do-young took root in his mind. On September 11, 2003, Yoo Young-chul walked out of prison. Though free, he felt more alone than ever. No one came to pick him up. His mother had died while he was inside, and he had no family left. He blamed his miserable life on poverty, seeing it as the root of all his woes, and decided to take revenge on the rich. He moved to Gangnam, Seoul's ritzy district known as the rich man's playground, filled with luxury homes, fancy cars, and extravagant lifestyles. Seeing their wealth up close fueled his rage and cemented his resolve to strike back. On September 24, 2003, just 13 days after his release, he launched his killing spree. Calm and calculated, he targeted the elderly. Posing as a repairman, he bludgeoned 73-year-old Lee Myung-hwa and his 68-year-old wife, Lee Jin-ok, to death with a claw hammer in a Gangnam house. On October 9th, disguised as a salesman, he killed 85-year-old Kang Yoon-young, her 60-year-old daughter-in-law, Lee Soo-kyung, and 35-year-old grandson, Ko Myung-jun. On October 16th, pretending to be a mail carrier, he murdered 71-year-old Choi Seung-ho, his 69-year-old wife, Lee Yoon, and a maid. He even staged the scenes to look like robberies to throw off the cops. On November 18th, he climbed through a drain pipe to slaughter 87-year-old Kim Hai-ran and 2 others. His victims were always rich, and his crimes were meticulous, designed to eliminate all witnesses. The police noticed the pattern and launched a major investigation, installing cameras and increasing patrols, but it didn't stop him. After the November 18th murder, though, he paused, possibly because the police had plastered his face on wanted posters, or maybe because he fell for a call girl named Oh Yeon-soo. This romance brought some comfort to his lonely soul, and he moved to Mapo, dabbling in poetry and painting, revealing a surprising artistic streak. But when he proposed to Oh Yeon-soo in January 2004, she rejected him over his criminal past and imagined epilepsy. Crushed, he saw this as a repeat betrayal by the same type of woman, call girls like his ex-wife, rekindling his hatred. In February 2004, Yoo resumed his rampage. He lured call girl Jung Ji-ran to his place, killed her with a hammer, then torched the house to destroy evidence. On March 11th, he murdered Park Chun-mi, dismembered her with a knife and electric saw, and buried her remains behind Bongunsa Temple. On March 24th, using a fake police ID, he tricked Lee Yeon-shin, killed her, and disposed of her the same way. He killed 5 more call girls on April 6th, April 18th, May 3rd, May 10th, and May 26th, perfecting his sick craft and even keeping body parts in his fridge to eat. On July 15th, 2004, Yoo targeted a call girl from the Hwa Cheon Hwa Jung massage parlor for the 3rd time, a risky move for someone so careful. The parlor's owner, suspicious after losing 2 girls to the same caller, tipped off the police. They set up a sting, nabbing Yoo when he met their decoy. He boldly admitted he was Yoo Young-chul, taunting them as the serial killer they'd been hunting. During questioning, he faked an epileptic seizure, slipped free in the chaos, but was recaptured 12 hours later at Hanseong Station. On July 18th, police announced they'd cracked South Korea's biggest serial killer case. Yoo was taken to Bongunsa Temple to point out burial sites, where they dug up 8 female bodies alongside damning evidence from his home: hammers, saws, fake handcuffs, a convincing police badge, and cooked human flesh in his fridge. He confessed to 19 murders in a year, hinting at more in other cities without proof. On December 13th, 2004, Seoul's High Court sentenced Yoo Young-chul to death. But South Korea hasn't executed anyone since 1997, effectively abolishing the death penalty in practice despite it remaining on the books. So, Yoo still sits in a Gangnam prison today, unexecuted. This saga is a tragedy for him, his victims, and society, begging the question, how do we stop monsters like him and restore peace? His criminal psyche boiled down to 4 traits: severe antisocial personality disorder, hatred of the rich, a serial killer's twisted urge to kill, and delusions. Raised breaking rules with no remorse, idolizing Young-do-young, and haunted by an imagined death from epilepsy, he spiraled into madness. The case inspired the film, The Chaser. Some blame his broken family, others the wealth gap or social inequity. But if we just point fingers instead of facing hardship head-on, tragedies like this will keep happening. That's the story of Yoo Young-chul, South Korea's most depraved killer. If you like this, give it a like and share. I'm Michael Vincent. See you next time.